Oh, we are already streaming.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Well, this morning we had some discussion, and we discussed the main themes we've heard from our Guru Varga, and I would like to now hear these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, which are leading up to the divine appearance of Lord Nrisimhadev. In Navadvip we would do, like also for, what other day? Maybe Janmashtami also, but they would read, like around the time that the Lord's going to appear, we would read that description at that time. So it's quite late here in England. It's not till 8:34, so India would be earlier. So okay, so actually this pastime has such prominence, within Srimad Bhagavatam. It is, I think, the whole of Canto 7. It is I don't know, like, how many chapters is it? Like, I can't say, more than 10 chapters. So a great deal of prominence is given to this pastime, which is highlighting, as we discussed in the morning, highlighting the position of the devotee and pure devotion. So it is very, very significant. And so in earlier chapters of this canto, well, first, as we know, there is the event with Jai and Vijay, the two gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, and they receive this curse to take birth as demons. Well, they choose to take, I think, 4 births as demons, right? They're given a choice. 3, is it 3?
4 if you include Thakur Bhakti Vinod's description of them as Jagai and Madai.
Okay.
Yeah, but 3 and...
Okay. Well, Gurudev, he said, he distinguished that one because he said that was willingly, so he didn't really count it. Like that was their choice, to come to join the Gora Leela. So then the main ones were Shishupal and Dantavakra.
Yeah, they're aligned with the Yugas, I think. So in Satyuga it's Ravan and
Kumbhakarna. Ravan, Kumbhakarna.
Treta Yuga is Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And then
Well, that's in Treta Yuga, is it?
Yeah, so there's a chronology, and then Dwapara Yuga is Shishupal and Dantavakra.
Okay. So Ravan and Kumbhakarna, then Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and then Shishupal and Dantavakra. So there's a very elaborate description, of this whole pastime from, pre-Prahlad. And Hiranyaksha, of course, he was the demon who was taking the universe down to the nether regions, to the waters at the bottom of the universe. And so the Lord appeared as Varahadev, right, to rescue. What was he rescuing exactly? Was it the earth only?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
It was Borlok, was it? It was particularly Borlok, was it, that he was rescuing?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was Hiranyaksha was taking Borloka down to the waters at the bottom of the universe. And so Varahadev came and he destroyed Hiranyaksha. Hiranyakashipu, his brother, I don't know if he's his big brother or little brother.
He's his younger brother.
His younger. So Hiranyakashipu is his little brother.
Yeah.
So his little brother was very upset about this. and Vishnu became his sworn enemy. And there's actually a very there's a very philosophical discussion, where when after Hiranyaksha is killed, then Hiranyakashipu, all of Hiranyaksha's relatives are mourning his death, and Hiranyakashipu actually gives some very sound philosophical advice to the family members, on Atma Tattva Gyan, advising them not to lament over the death of their dearly departed. But at the same time, he swears revenge against Lord Vishnu, and he performs, must be hundreds of years of austerities, right?
10,000.
10,000, is it?
Yeah.
And there's that famous painting where his body has been eaten up, by insects.
So, that means
Gadadhar is saying Treta Yuga. And his flesh has all been eaten up. And he's, just sustaining his life force with his bones. And, praying to Lord Brahma to descend. And then finally Lord Brahma cannot ignore, because through the force of his austerity, there's disturbance being created throughout the worlds. So finally Lord Brahma, he's compelled to descend and answer his call, and tells him, tell me what boon would you like, and Hiranyakashipu wants to be immortal, but Lord Brahma tells him, I'm sorry, I can't do that. So instead, Hiranyakashipu, he draws up a complex, legal paper. So it's as if, he comes up with like this legal agreement. So it's as if he's immortal, or so he thinks. He thinks it's watertight. He can't see the loopholes there. So he states his request that he won't be killed by an animal or a man, He won't be killed on the land or in the sky. He won't be killed in the day or at the night. He won't be killed by any weapon, and so on and so forth. You can remember more of them.
Indoors, outdoors.
Indoors or outdoors.
by a human or
Human or animal, yeah. So he thinks, that's it, I'm basically invincible. Like and so then he regains this youthful, beautiful body, and he begins terrorizing the three worlds. He takes control of the hellish planets, the earthly plane, and the heavenly planet. So the devas, they've lost their homes, they've lost their land, and so he's ruling, very happily. But meanwhile, before that, his wife, what was her name? What was her name? His wife?
Diti, yeah.
No. Hiranyakashipu's wife.
Prahlad's mother.
Yes.
Diti?
Is it Diti?
I think so.
Or maybe she has another name. But anyhow, she takes shelter in Narad's ashram during that time when Hiranyakashipu is doing these austerities. And Prahlad is in her womb. Well, actually, before that, now we're going through the whole story. Before that, Indra was going to kill her. And correct me if I get any details wrong. I'm pretty bad on my, history telling. But Indra's about to kill her because she's pregnant. So Indra thinks, Hiranyakashipu is his major demon. So his son is going to be an even bigger demon. So let's, nip this in the bud. But then when he's drawn his sword, he's about to do that, then Narada comes and says, no, you don't know, actually her son is a very great devotee. And so Narada takes her to his ashram, and in that time when and he also gives a boon to Prahlad's mother, that her son will not be born until his father is, they're again united with the father. So in that time, Narada's giving so many instructions daily to Diti, to Prahlad's mother, and Prahlad in the womb, he's hearing that, and so there is an initiation that takes place. Prahlad accepts Narada as his guru. And then, Hiranyakashipu returns and he terrorizes, the three worlds, takes everything over. The Devas are in trouble, they pray to Lord Vishnu. And then meanwhile Prahlad is growing up and he's being trained to become a first-class demon. But Prahlad he's not affected by any of that, and on the other hand, he begins preaching to his schoolmates. He starts brainwashing his schoolmates about Krishna consciousness. And as we discussed in the morning, his father becomes very upset when he finds out what's going on, and he has his son tortured, but nothing is harming his son, and he's becoming frustrated. And finally, he decides, I have to kill this boy myself. I have to do it myself. My own son. So this is where we are in this narrative. So this is chapter 8 of the 7th canto. Lord Nrisimhadev slays the king of the demons. Jai Shri Gurudev Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Narada Vacha Atad Daitya Sutta Sarve Shutva Anuvarnitam Jagrahur Niravadyatvam Naiva Gorvanushikshitam. Narada Muni continued, all the sons of the demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad and took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instructions given by their teachers, Shanda and Amarka. There's one very beautiful, let me see if I can find it. There's a very beautiful verse describing how these boys would all gather around him, their eyes like bumblebees as they soaked up all the nectar that they're hearing from Prahlad. Prahlad he remembers everything that he learned in the womb, and he's sharing everything with them. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, maybe not. No, I don't think I can find it now. Anyhow. So they're eagerly hearing everything they're hearing from their classmate, Prahlad. Tacharja sutastesham buddhimekanta samstitam alakshabitas twadito ragya vedayadyata. When Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya, observed that all the students, the sons of the demons, were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness because of the association of Prahlad, they were afraid. They approached the king of the demons and described the situation as it was. Kopavesha chaladgatra putram hanto manodade kshiptva parushaya vacha prahardama tadarhanam ahiksha manaha papena tiraschinena chakshusha prashayavanatam dantam vadanjalim avastitam sarpapada hata iva shasham prakriti daduna. When Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation, he was extremely angry, so much so that his body trembled. Thus he finally decided to kill his son, Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu was by nature very cruel, and feeling insulted, he began hissing like a snake trampled upon by someone's foot. His son Prahlad was peaceful, mild, and gentle. His senses were under control, and he stood before Hiranyakashipu with folded hands. According to Prahlad's age and behavior, he was not to be chastised. He's only 5 or 6 years old. Yet with staring, crooked eyes, Hiranyakashipu rebuked him with the following harsh words. It's a very, striking contrast. Hiranyakashipu, he's so arrogant that he's upset. He cannot tolerate, he's in a murderous rage because someone is not agreeing with him, basically. There's no harm being done to him. It's simply that he's not being agreed with.
He's 5 years old.
He's only 5 years old. No, he's at the extreme point of wanting to impose his conception upon the environment, to the point where if it's not being accepted, he's ready to kill that person. Whereas Prahlad is the exact opposite. He is so, he is so self-effacing. He's so much withdrawing, his own imposition upon the environment, that he is utterly undisturbed even when facing such an imposition from somebody else. He's calm, he's peaceful, even in the face of such aggression. And Hiranyakashipu is the exact opposite. It's an interesting reflection, if we think of our own egos and how we impose that, upon others. Sri Hiranyakashipu Vacha. Sri Hiranyakashipu. So he has some grace. The blessed Hiranyakashipu. He Dorvinita Mandatman Kulabeda Karadama Stabdama Chashanod. Well, he's blessed because he has a son like Prahlad, right? And there's, of course, the Leela going on in the background. He Dorvinita Mandatman Kulabeda Karadama Stabdama Chashanodritam Neshetvadya Yamakshayam. Hiranyakashipu said, O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you. You have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamaraj. Kudasya yasya kampante trayaloka saheshwara tasya me bitavan muda shashanam kimbalotyaga. My son Prahlad, you rascal, you know that when I am angry, all the planets of the 3 worlds tremble, along with their chief rulers. By whose power has such a rascal like you become so impudent that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you? It's like Hiranyakashipu, he's the most, he's like the epitome of materialism, aggression, exploitation, imposition upon the environment. And Prahlad is the extreme epitome of spiritual consciousness, humility, not non-imposing, and also compassionate at the same time. Compassionate, respectful, peaceful. Shri Parad Uvacha Na kevalam me bhavatas charajan savaibalam balinam cha paresham parevare mistira jangamaje brahmadeo yena vasham pranitaha. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength, whether moving or not moving, superior or inferior. Everyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Saishara kala ukramasav ojasaha sattva balendriyatma saeva vishvam paramasva shaktivi shijatya vachati guna chayeshaha." The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme controller and time factor, is the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of the body, and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the controller of the three modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation, maintains it, and annihilates it also. Jahusarun Yasudambavam himam tam atmana samam mano datsvana shanti vidmisha vite jita datmana utpate stita tadi yanantasya mahat samarhanam. Prahlad continued, "My dear father, please give up your demonic mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised toward everyone. Except for the uncontrolled and misguided minds, there is no enemy within this world." Wow. Except for the uncontrolled and misguided minds, there is no enemy within this world. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord perfectly. I'll read this purport, which has a very fitting verse from Gita. And purport, unless one is able to fix the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, the mind is impossible to control. As Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna. The mind is chanchal, very restless. Pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoyiva sudushkanam. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna. And to subdue it, it seems to me, is more difficult than controlling the wind. The only bona fide process for controlling the mind is to fix the mind by service to the Lord. We create enemies and friends according to the dictation of the mind. But actually there are no enemies and friends. Pandita samadarshina sama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. To understand this is the preliminary condition for entering into the kingdom of devotional service, to have this equal vision towards the duality of this mundane plane. Tasyun purasanna vijitya lumpato manyanta eke swajita disho dasha chitatmano gyasya samasya dehinam sado samoha prabhava kutapade. In former times, There were many fools like you who did not conquer the 6 enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. These fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all enemies in the 10 directions. But if a person is victorious over the 6 enemies and is equipoised toward all living entities, for him there are no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one in ignorance. This is a very nice point. You can conquer so many enemies outside and ignore the enemies within. The real enemies are within. And if you can conquer the enemies within, there will no longer be any enemies without. Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Yaktam tam martu kamosi yotimatram vikatase Mamurshunam hi mandatman nanushyor viklavagira. Hiranyakashipu replied, You rascal, you are trying to minimize my value, as if you were better than me at controlling the senses. This is over-intelligence. Or maybe something like precocious, or don't know. I can therefore understand that you desire to die at my hands. For this kind of nonsensical talk is indulged in by those about to die.
Could you translate the over-intelligent thing as smartass?
In what?
You said over-intelligent, right? You were trying to think of something else.
Yeah, let me see what it says in the word for word.
I would think smartass.
Something like that. Yeah, I think along those lines. It says this vikata, say, boasting. Yeah, so something like that. I'll read this purport. It is said in Hitopadesh, Upadesho hi murkanam prakopayana shantaye. If good instructions are given to a foolish person, he does not take advantage of them, but becomes more and more angry. Prahlad Maharaj's authorized instructions to his father were not accepted by Hiranyakashipu as truth. Instead, Hiranyakashipu became increasingly angry at his great son. It is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita not to waste your time speaking deep philosophical truths to, don't agitate their minds, to ignorant persons. Best is to encourage them to take up, duty, selfless action in a life of duty, and set that example oneself. But Prahlad, he's in a mood of such innocence, he's being very frank with his father. This kind of difficulty always exists when a devotee preaches Krishna consciousness to persons like Hiranyakashipu who are interested in money and women. The word Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu refers to cushions or good bedding. Moreover, if a father does not like to be instructed by his son, especially if the father is a demon. Prahlad Maharaj's Vaishnav preaching to his demonic father was indirectly effective, for because of Hiranyakashipu's excessive jealousy of Krishna and his devotee, he was inviting Nrisimhadev to kill him very quickly. Thus he was expediting his being killed by the Lord himself. Although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he is described here by the added word Shri. Why? The answer is that fortunately he had such a great devotee son as Prahlad Maharaj. Thus, although he was a demon, he would attain salvation and return home, back to Godhead. Yastai mandabo bhagyokto madanyo jagadishvara kwaso yadi sarvatra kasmat stambena drishyate. O most unfortunate Prahlad, you have always described a supreme being other than me. A supreme being who is above everything, who is the controller of everyone, and who is all pervading. See, this is so perfect. This is like just perfectly exemplifying the materialistic man. Like, I'm God, and I'm envious of the fact that you want to worship somebody else's God. Let's just say there is no God so that I can be God, so that we can be God. That would suit me much better. So you always talk about this Supreme Being who is above everything, who's the controller of everyone, and who's all-pervading. But where is he? I can't see him. But where is he? If he is everywhere, then why is he not present before me in this pillar? Soham vikata manasya shirakaya dadamite gopayeta haristwadya yaste sharanam ipsitam. Because you are speaking so much nonsense, I shall now sever your head from your body. Now let me see your most worshipable God come to protect you. I want to see it. Evam drupter murardayan dusha sutam maha bhagavatam mahasura kadgam pragrayot patito varasanat stambam tatadadi dati bala swamushtina. Being obsessed with anger, Hiranyakashipu, who was very great in bodily strength, thus chastised his exalted devotee son, Prahlad, with harsh words. Cursing him again and again, Hiranyakashipu took up his sword, got up from his royal throne, and with great anger struck his fist against the column. Tadaiva tasmin ninado tibishano babuva yenanda kataham asputat yam vaisadish jishno pagatam tvajadaya shutva sadamatyaya mangamenyude. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound, which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. O my dear Yudhisthira, this is Narada, I believe, relating this to Yudhisthira. This sound reached even the abodes of the demigods, like Lord Brahma. And when the demigods heard it, they thought, oh, now our planets are being destroyed. Savikraman putra vadepsoro jasa nishamya nirhradam napuram adbhutam manta sabayam Nadadarsha tatparam vitatra suryena suradi. While showing his extraordinary prowess, Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful, tumultuous sound which had never before been heard. Upon hearing the sounds, the other leaders of the demons were afraid. None of them could find the origin of that sound in the assembly. Srila Sridhar Maharshi's also mentioned a side story in regards to this extraordinary sound, that there was a Brahmin lady who was somewhere, I don't know where, it could have been quite far away, but it was just such a loud sound. But there was one Brahmin lady who was pregnant, and when this sound came, it was so powerful, so extraordinary, that she gave birth prematurely, and so her husband, he cursed the Lord. He was very upset about this, and so he cursed the Lord that in his next appearance he would not have self-consciousness. He would not have consciousness of his own divinity. And so he appeared as Ramachandra, as a result of that curse, without consciousness of his own divinity. So it was such a powerful and fearful sound. Okay, now we come to this verse, which Gurudev liked very much. It's a very beautiful verse. Satyam vidatam nijabritya bhashitam vyaktim chabhuteshva kileshu chatmana adrishya tatyad bhutta rupam udvahan stambe sabayam namirgam na manusham. To prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad was substantial. In other words, to prove, so beautiful, to demonstrate the truth of the words of his devotee. His devotee had said yes, with simple faith, yes, my Lord is here, even in this pillar. So to prove the truth of his devotee's words, which is very important. This is like a very important vow that the Lord has taken, that he will always maintain the promise of his devotees. And so in Bhagavad Gita, right, Krishna tells Arjuna, Kunteya pratijanihi na me bhakta pranashyati. Oh Kunteya, O Arjuna, you must promise that you must declare boldly that my devotee is never vanquished. And why does he tell his devotee to say this? Gurudev explains, because Krishna does not always keep his own promises. He doesn't keep his promises, so seriously. Doesn't hold them so seriously. But the promises of his devotees, those are very serious to him. He takes those so he tells, if I promise it, people will not take me very seriously. But if you promise it, Arjuna, if you declare that my devotee is never vanquished, then everybody will pay attention. Krishna also promises that he won't fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. But then Bhishma promises to break Krishna's promise. So he induces Krishna to fight, and in that way Bhishma is able to keep his promise. And Krishna has to break his own promise. So this is like a very important statement here, to keep the word of his devotee. He appeared in this extraordinary form. Satyam vidatam nijabritya bhashitam vyaptim chabhuteshva kileshu chatmana adrishya tatyad bhutarupam mudvahan stambe sabayam namirgam namanusham. To prove that the statement, and also actually what it says here is nijabritya, his own servant. So this also covers other promises that were made. There's also Brahma's promises. Brahma made all these awkward agreements, and it's mentioned, Srila Gurudev mentioned, and maybe it's in the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, or maybe it's even here in Bhagavatam, I don't remember. But anyway, Gurudev, we definitely heard from Gurudev that at the end of this whole Leela, then Nrisimhadev specifically mentioned to Brahma, please do not make promises like this again. It's like, when I want to come to save my devotee, I just want to come. I don't have to think about all these legal stipulations and look for loopholes. And actually the Lord didn't need to do that, but he was just he's honoring Brahma. He doesn't want to disrespect Brahma, So he's like honoring all these little details that Brahma had agreed to. But he mentioned afterwards, please don't do that again. Don't make things unnecessarily complicated. To prove that the statement of his servant, Prahlad Maharaj, was substantial. In other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never seen before. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. Haribo! Sasatvamenam parito vipashyan stambhasya modyad anunirjihanam nayam mrigo napi naro vichitram aho kimetan nirmriganjarupam. While Hiranyakashipu looked all around to find the source of the sound, that wonderful form of the Lord, which could not be ascertained to be either a man or a lion, emerged from the pillar. In amazement, Hiranyakashipu wondered, what is this creature that is half man and half lion? Mimam samanasya sam mudito grato nishingarupastaralam bayanakam pratapta chamikara chandalochanam spudatsata keshara jimbitananam karala damstram karavala chanchala shuranta jivam prukuti mukho manam stabdordva karnam giri kandara bhuta vyatasya nasam hanubeda bishanam divis prashad kayam hadirga pivara vivodu vaksha stalam alpa madhyamam chandram shugodaishchuritam tanudo hair vishvag bunjanika shatam nakayuddam durasadam sarva nije tarayuda praveka vidravita daitya danavam. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of Nrisimhadev standing before him was. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold, his shining mane, which expanded the dimensions of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, and his razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dueling sword. His ears were erect and motionless, and his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like caves of a mountain. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, and the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions as he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other natural weapons. Prayenameyam adino rumayina vadasmito nena samudyatena kim evam bravam stvab yapatad gadayudo nadan nishingam pratidaitya kunjaraha. Hiranyakashipu murmured to himself, Lord Vishnu, who possesses great mystic power, has made this plan to kill me. But what is the use of such an attempt? He's still grasping at straws here. His ego is still clinging on. Who can fight with me? Thinking like this and taking up his club, Hiranyakashipu attacked the lion like an elephant. Purport: in the jungle there are sometimes fights between lions and elephants. Here the Lord appeared like a lion, and Hiranyakashipu, unafraid of the Lord, attacked him like an elephant. Generally, the elephant is defeated by the lion, and therefore the comparison in this verse is appropriate. Alakshitogno patita patangamo yata nishingho jasi so surastada natadvichitram kalu sattva damani swatejasayonu purapi bhattamaha. Just as a small insect falls forcefully into a fire and the insignificant creature becomes invisible. When Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord, who was full of effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible. This is not at all astonishing, for the Lord is always situated in pure goodness. Formerly, during creation, he entered the dark universe and illuminated it by his spiritual effulgence. Tato vipadya vyahanan mahasuro rusha nishingam gadayo duvegaya tam vikramantam sagadam gadadharo Mahoragam taksha suto yatagrahit. Thereafter the great demon Hiranyakashipu, who was extremely angry, swiftly attacked Nrisimhadev with his club and began to beat him. Lord Nrisimhadev, however, captured the great demon along with his club, just as Garuda might capture a great snake. Satasya hastot kalitastadasuro vikridato yadvadahir garutmata asad vamanyanta rito kashomara ganachara bharata sarvadishnyapa. O Yudhisthira, O great son of Bharat, when Lord Nrisimhadev gave Hiranyakashipu a chance to slip from his hand, just as Garuda sometimes plays with a snake and lets it slip from his mouth, the demigods who had lost their abodes and who were hiding behind the clouds for fear of the demon did not consider that incident very good. So they were like all on the edge of their seats, like watching this, and Nrisimhadev, he's playing a little bit, letting Hiranyakashipu think he has the upper hand, momentarily. And the demigods are getting a little nervous. This isn't fun for us. Like, please, just do it. Just get it over with. Don't play. Indeed, they were perturbed. Purport. When Hiranyakashipu was in the process of being killed by Lord Nrisimhadev, the Lord gave the demon a chance to slip from his clutches. This incident was not very much appreciated by the demigods, for they were greatly afraid of Hiranyakashipu. They knew that if somehow or other Hiranyakashipu escaped from Nrisimhadev's hands and saw that the demigods were looking forward to his death with great pleasure, he would take great revenge upon them. Therefore, they were very much afraid. Tam manyamano nija virya sankitam yadvastamukto nirhadim mahasura punastam asajata kadga charmani bagriya vegena gata shamomrde. When Hiranyakashipu was freed from the hands of Nrisimhadev, he falsely thought that the Lord was afraid of his prowess. Thereafter, after taking a little rest from the fight, he took up his sword and shield and again attacked the Lord with great force. Purport. When a sinful man enjoys material facilities, foolish people sometimes think, how is it that this sinful man is enjoying, whereas a pious man is suffering? By the will of the Supreme, a sinful man is sometimes given the chance to enjoy the material world, as if we were not under the clutches of material nature, just so that he may be fooled. A sinful man who acts against the laws of nature must be punished, but sometimes he is given a chance to play, exactly like Hiranyakashipu when he was released from the hands of Nrisimhadev. Hiranyakashipu was destined to be ultimately killed by Nrisimhadev, but just to see the fun, the Lord gave him a chance to slip from his hands. Tam shena vegam shatta chandra vartmabish charantam achidam uparado hari Kridvataha samkaram utsvanolbanam imilitaksham jagrihe mahajava. Making a loud, shrill sound of laughter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, who is extremely strong and powerful, captured Hiranyakashipu, who was protecting himself with his sword and shield, leaving no gaps open. With the speed of a hawk, Hiranyakashipu moved sometimes in the sky and sometimes on the earth, his eyes closed because of fear of Nrisimhadev's laughter. Vishvaksparantam grahanaturam hadir vyalo yatakum kulishakshata tvacham dvaruyum. Sanskrit is a little difficult for me to read. Dvayurum apatya dadaralilaya naker yatahim garudo maharisham. As a snake captures a mouse, or Garuda captures a very venomous snake, Lord Nrisimhadev captured Hiranyakashipu, who could not be pierced even by the thunderbolt of Lord Indra. As Hiranyakashipu moved his limbs here, there, and all around, very much afflicted at being captured, Lord Nrisimhadev placed the demon on his lap, supporting him with his thighs. And in the doorway of the of the assembly hall, the Lord very easily tore the demon to pieces with the nails of his hands. Purport: Hiranyakashipu had received from Lord Brahma the benediction that he would not die on the land or in the sky. Therefore, to keep the promise of Lord Brahma intact, Nrisimhadev placed Hiranyakashipu's body on his lap, which was neither land nor sky. Hiranyakashipu had received the benediction that he would not die either during the day or at night. Therefore, to keep this promise of Brahma, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu in the evening, which is the end of day and the beginning of night, but is neither day nor night. Hiranyakashipu had taken a benediction from Lord Brahma that he would not die from any weapon or be killed by any person, dead or alive. Therefore, just to keep the word of Lord Brahma, Lord Nrisimhadev pierced Hiranyakashipu's body with his nails, which were not weapons and were neither living nor dead. Indeed, the nails can be called dead, but at the same time they can be said to be alive. To keep intact all of Lord Brahma's benedictions, Lord Nrisimhadev paradoxically but very easily killed the great demon, Hiranyakashipu. Samramba dushpreksha karalo lochano vyatana nantam vilihan swajivaya ashiglavak taruna kesharanano yatantramali dvipa hatyaya hari. Lord Nrisimhadev's mouth and mane were sprinkled with drops of blood, and his fierce eyes, full of anger, were impossible to look at. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrisimhadev, decorated with a garland of intestines taken from Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, resembled a lion that had just killed an elephant. Nakan karod pati tirhid saroduham vishijya tasyanu chananudayudam ahan samastan naka shastra panibir dordanda yutto nupatan sahas Vishakha. Jai Shishivu Garangaraja Harichu. Let's just see. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had many, many arms, first uprooted Hiranyakashipu's heart and then threw him aside and turned toward the demon's soldiers. These soldiers had come in thousands to fight with him with raised weapons and were very faithful followers of Hiranyakashipu, but Lord Nrisimhadev killed all of them merely with the ends of his nails. Shatavadutta jalada parapatan grahaschata drishti vimushtavochisaha ambodaya swasha hatta vichukshubur nirhada bita digiba vichukrishu. The hair on Nrisimhadev's head shook the clouds and scattered them here and there. His glaring eyes stole the effulgence of the luminaries in the sky, and his breathing agitated the seas and oceans. Because of his roaring, all the elephants in the world began to cry in fear. Jyostatsadokshipta vimana sankula protsarpatakshama chapada bipidita shaila samudpetra musharam hasa tattejasakam kakubo navejire. Airplanes were thrown into outer space and the upper planetary system by the hair on Nrisimhadev's head. Because of the pressure of the Lord's lotus feet, the earth appeared to slip from its position, and all the hills and mountains sprang up due to his intolerable force. Because of the Lord's bodily effulgence, both the sky and all directions diminished in their natural illumination. Tata sabhayam upavishtamutame nipasane sambrita teja sambibhum alakshita dvairatam atyamarsanam prachandavakcham na babaja kaschana. Manifesting a full effulgence and a fearsome countenance, Lord Nrisimha, being very angry and finding no contestant to face his power and opulence, then sat down in the assembly hall on the excellent throne of the king. Because of fear and obedience, no one could come forward to serve the Lord directly. Nishamya lokachaya mashtaka dvadam tamadi daityam harinahatam mride praharsha vegod kali tanana muhu prasuna varsher vavishu surashtriya. Hiranyakashipu had been exactly like a fever of meningitis in the head of the three worlds. Hiranyakashipu had been exactly like a fever of meningitis in the head of the three worlds. Thus, when the wives of the demigods in the heavenly planet saw that the great demon had been killed by the personal hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their faces blossomed in great joy. The wives of the demigods again and again showered flowers from the heaven upon Lord Nrisimhadev like rain. Tadavimana valibirna bashtalam didikshatam sankulamashana kinam suranaka dundu bayota jagrinere gandharva mukyana nirturjagustriya. At that time, the airplanes of the demigods who desired to see the activities of the Supreme Lord Narayan crowded the sky. The demigods began beating drums and kettle drums, and upon hearing them, the angelic women began to dance, while the chiefs of the Gandharvas sang sweetly. Tatro parvajja vibuddha brahmendra girisha daya vishaya pitada siddha vidyadada mahoroga manava prajanam pattayo gandharvapsada charana yaksha kim purushishtata vetala saha kinara te vishnu parshada sarve sunanda kumudadaya murni badanjali buddha asinam tirvatejasam idade nada sardulam nati durachara pritak. My dear King Yudhisthira, the demigods then approached the Lord. They were headed by Lord Brahma, King Indra, and Lord Shiva, and included great saintly persons, and the residents of Pitralok, Siddhalok, Vidyadaralok, and the planet of the snakes. The Manus approached, and so did the chiefs of various other planets. The angelic dancers approached, as did the Gandharvas, the Charanas, the Yakshas, the inhabitants of Kanaralok, the Vetalas, the inhabitants of Kimpurushalok, and the personal servants of Vishnu like Sunanda and Kumuda. All of them came near the Lord, who glowed with intense light. They individually offered their obeisances and prayers, their hands folded at their heads. Okay, I think it's a good place to stop. And then the devas one by one come forward and they're offering their prayers. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, the various saints and inhabitants of different planets, Siddhalok and Pitralok and Vidyadarlok and Nagalok and the Manus and the Prajapatis and the Gandharvas and the residents of Charana planet and the residents of Yaksha Loka and Kimpurusha Loka and Vaitalika Loka, associates of Vishnu from Vaikuntha and the Kanaras. They all come forward one by one and they're offering their prayers. But Nrisimhadev is still angry. And then Lord Brahma, he pushes Prahlad forward. Because this pastime is primarily to highlight the position of the pure devotee. So Prahlad is pushed forward. You go, you can soften him. And so Prahlad comes forward and offers many beautiful prayers, and then Nrisimhadev is pacified and takes him on his lap and licks his head with so much affection. And Nrisimhadev offers him a boon, and Prahlad says, no, how can I accept a boon? If I were to ask for a boon, then that would be like a business transaction. I'm happy to serve you and remember you. And then he says, but if you insist, then I will ask for one boon. I will ask for the boon to not have any desire to ask for a boon. May you please, for if you insist, my Lord, then please, I ask for this boon, that you remove from my heart any desire to ever ask you for anything. That is my only prayer. And then Nrisimhadev insists, no, you must ask for something. And then Prahlad says, then I pray that you excuse my father. My goodness. Excuse my father. He knows not what he does. So beautiful, beautiful pastime. Bhakta Prabhara Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Shri Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya, Shri Nrisimhadev ki jai. Bhagavan Nrisimhadev Avirbhav Mahamahotsav ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Gadadhar Prabhu, would you like to sing?
Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Hare Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Kachari Bari Astotara Satashrishimad Srila Bhakti Nirmalachari Maharaj Ki Jai
Jai.
Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrata Astotara Satashrishimad Srila Bhakti Sunda Govinda Dev Swami Maharaj Guru
Jai.
Jai
Jai!
Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrata Kachari Bari Astotara Satashrishimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai
Jai.
Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai
Jai!
Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai
Jai!
Namajadra Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai
Jai!
Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai
Jai!
Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai
Jai!
Nandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai
Jai!
Shri Bhakti Vigna Vinas Nrisimhadev Jayanti Ki
Jai!
Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai
Jai!
Hari Hari Bo
Haribol!
Prashadam Seva Ki
Done. Got for another 15
10 minutes. Yeah. Moeten we nog wachten op
Is dat een nieuwe dress?
Maybe.
Is it nearly made?
It's not a new dress, but
Really
a
gorgeous.
new dress for today. It's very beautiful. I think Ishamuga did it.
Pandita,
Yeah.
do you have a good eye for colour?
Oh, I don't know. What's the assignment?
To look at the colour grade I did for Vishakha's latest video and tell me if it looks good to you.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I can give you my feedback.